This is the Blackout podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Blackout podcast, where I get to talk to amazing people that do amazing things. And today I'm super happy. I'm super happy to have Vanessa Furlong.
Yeah.
Vanessa Furlong. Vanessa Furlong. Someone that, I loved the film that Rajneesh made about you, and just showed your strength and grace on. Introduce yourself, because now I was going to go on a tangent. So tell me a little bit more about you.
All right. Vanessa Furlong, and I'm a circus artist here in Halifax. And I'm just gonna leave it right there for now. I guess we'll get into the nitty gritty as we go, right? I'm gonna find out all the secrets.
How did you get into the circus?
So I started out, I was a student at Atlantic Circ, which is the circus school over in Burnside. So I was there in 2006. And then in 2012, I did my first professional show with them. And then in 2014, I took over their agency and, run that full time.
So why did you decide to join the circus?
I don't know, because I'm a clown. I don't know. It's the closest thing to clown college we have. I don't know. No, I have my degree in theater. And when I moved to Halifax, I pursued theater a little bit. I went to Bishop's University in Quebec.
Okay.
So I went there, moved here, and pursued theater a little bit. But when I found out that there was a circus school, I was like, wait, you can have fitness and you can have theater and you can mash them all together. So I was like, yeah, let's do that. So.
How was the experience been though? When you first got to this, what's the process? I go to the school, I'm like, yeah, I want to be this. Is it tryouts, auditions?
No, you just show up because they have adult classes and it's all levels, right? So you just show up and they put you in pain for an hour and a half and you walk out and you're like, oh, I'm so weak, but I'm so strong and everything hurts and I love it and I'm coming back tomorrow. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's all levels, and as you go, you start you find whatever your thing is. Some people go in and they want to stick to the silks, and some people go in and they just want to juggle, and you find your thing over time. So. And
then, what if you want to just be a clown?
You go to France. For real though. The best clown schools that I got, they're all in France. Paris was where the clown started. So, but we have some awesome, we had one guy that was here for a while, John Beale, who's based out of Toronto right now. It's just a really fantastic clown coach, and I don't know, clown's something totally different from what people think it is. Everyone's afraid of clowns. They're like, you're gonna put on really bad makeup and scare my children, but it's what I really like about clown is it's about discovering how to fail as best you can, how to accept your fails and go with it and make that funny. Just relating as much as possible to your audience.
And when you first joined Atlantic Circ, what was your thing?
Trapeze and stilts. Those are my two main things.
Oh, yeah. The thing.
The sticks. So
why did you decide to get on the stilts?
Because nobody else was doing it and I wanted to make the most money. So we're going to be honest. I was like, they have this professional program and they're like, everybody could pick their minor and their major. And I was like, well, everybody's doing the silks and everyone's doing aerial hoop. So I'm not going to get any of the gigs because I'm not the strongest. I'm not the most flexible, but nobody else can walk on stilts. I'm going to do that. So that's what I did. Yeah. So I picked that up and there it is.
Do you just do you sit down to wear them and then stand up, or you stand up to wear them?
You find the nearest really tall mailbox or a set of stairs or a table, strap them on. Sometimes I'll use the hood of my car. I don't know. And then you just stand up and go. Yeah. Really, really. Just totally safe. Totally safe.
Okay. So you put them on, and then when you stand up, do they just how big is a platform? Do they have a platform? Like, do you need a skill to keep it upright? That's what I'm asking.
You do, yeah. It's like, I mean, all stilts are made a little bit different too, to where your balance is coming from. Some of the stilts, they come directly underneath the foot plate, and some of them are directly beside. And so each set of stilts that you're on, it's going to take you a little second just to find that balance. But the foot plate is the size of your foot. Usually there's a shoe that's been bolted into it. And you just slip your foot into that shoe and away you go. But yeah.
But now, then you lean forward and you stand and
keep moving. Keep moving. It's seriously, you cannot stop. Like, some people have developed a skill to be able to stop.
Oh.
But for the most part, you have to just keep the momentum going, shifting your weight from one side to the other. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How heavy are those things?
Ooh, I think one time we weighed the stilts with my costumes. It was like 12 pounds or something. It's not that bad.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, you're wearing 12-pound shoes.
Yeah. So your hips get jacked. Yeah. It's true. It's true. You get jacked hips.
So you go down the stakes and then you decide, I'm going to do this because people don't care for it. How did you make it cool? Because I'm guessing people didn't go to it because it's not cool.
Yeah, so, and still for the most part, like, you're not going to make it into Cirque du Soleil being like, oh, I'm a stilt walker. They just, they don't care. They just assume that any of the acrobats that they hire, if they needed a stilt walker, they're going to, slap some stilts on one of their acrobats. But but this thing that's been happening, and it's actually happening quite a bit, out in Arizona, and started up here in New Brunswick with a company called Circus Stella, is acrobatic stilts.
What?
Yeah. So that's when you have so red. So you're doing, your cartwheels and your back bends and your walkovers and your flips and balancing on other people, and yeah.
It sounds like it hurts.
Because all circus hurts. Like, running hurts. Getting up in the morning hurts.
But then I guess, like, if you're spinning on just your feet, if you fall, the heights you fall from is not that much. But if you fall from up there, it's not fun.
It's not fun, but you wear padding and you learn to fall properly.
Hey, everyone says that. Yeah. How do you learn to fall?
Well, it's the same as, if you're not going to jump out of an airplane without first figuring out how you're supposed to land, right? I mean, maybe you would. I don't know. But you do. You learn how to, like, absorb as much of the fall as across as much of your body as possible, like not to stick your hands out and just hope that your wrists are going to hold. You just learn. I
learned that one the hard way.
Yeah.
I wasn't always, when I was growing up, I wanted to be a stuntsman, right? So what I like, because I was stupid. Not that stunt people are stupid, but anyway, I wasn't thinking it through. Like, when people are doing stunts, they make sure it's as safe as possible. And I'm going with my friends, and, we're thinking of the dumbest things to do. So one of the coolest things we can come on was jumping out of a moving car because,
Oh, God. I already don't like where this is going.
Yeah. Anyway, and the thing you don't understand about, like, the idea you understand about moving cars is, like, you are going at the speed of the car. So you don't, when you jump out, you kind of have to keep moving. So I jump out and stand, and next thing the floor moves. And then I'm like, I'm going to support myself.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I was broken up. But then as a kid, when I was a kid, there was this thing. I didn't talk much.
Uh-huh.
So I fell. I just got out. I was like, it's cool. I'm hurting like crazy. My friends are laughing, right? But, so I had to act cool. Anyway, I was broken up. My wrist, my thumb and stuff. So, I learned that one the hard way.
How fast were you going?
The car was pretty fast. Right? Because the person in front didn't know we were going to do this, right?
Oh, my God.
And it was a pickup truck. I was like, we're just stupid kids.
Yeah. Let's put that in the next Cirque du Soleil show. Just like jumping out of cars. Oh my God, that sounds so painful.
Why is Cirque du Soleil so good and so expensive, actually?
Oh boy. So Cirque du Soleil, it's like this, just this totally different genre that kind of came out of circus, and which is now, it's funny because it's now considered a little bit more like classic, because contemporary circus is now coming out of that even as an answer, almost not against it, but just a thing that came out of what happened when Cirque du Soleil got so huge. But I mean, they're holding auditions and they're scouting all over the world. So they're looking for the best of the best, and they're putting all of them together on one stage. They've got a massive budget. They've got the best musicians. They have the best costumes. They have the best stage design, and they're always trying to push, like, how wild can we get it? You know, like the next show that they're doing, they're actually coming to Halifax with it in August. They're doing it on ice. So it's like, okay, let's take these incredible acrobats and now let's stick them on a thing of ice with some blades on their feet, and away they flip. So like they're really always pushing those boundaries. So I mean, it's, you know, $75 a ticket here or something, but that is paying for the fact that these acrobats have rehearsed like 8 hours a day, every single day since they were 2. And the fact that you had to hire like the top riggers in the world to come in, the fact that, you know, their stages usually have like some wild hydraulic thing happening, and it's paying for all of that. And so really, when you think about the massive amount of work that went into it, it's not all that expensive. But I mean, it is a little inaccessible to the people that can't enjoy that kind of an experience with that kind of money, but that's what the internet's for, right? You know, we're all going to find it on YouTube anyway, so, yeah.
What do you think, watching it and being right in the audience, is there a difference?
You mean watching it live versus...
Yeah, not just Cirque du Soleil, just any show.
Anything, absolutely. Because you're, particularly if you're in a little bit more of an intimate space, because you're kind of, you're feeling whatever energy the performers are putting off, and the performers are feeling yours, right? And so you have this kind of call and answer happening, which is why when you're doing a live show, every single performance is going to be totally different. It's depending on, you know, the mood of the audience and what type of people that you have in the room, and how they're feeling that day, and how the people on the stage are feeling. And it just changes. So it's nice. It's intimate.
So, from 2006, and why did it take so long to be in your first show? Because I think it's
2006 to 2012. Yeah. Because when you're taking like 1 or 2 classes a week, you're only getting an hour or 2 of proper training. Oh. So in order for them to be like, okay, you know, you have the skills, you have the know-how, and you have the safety to now be able to do your own thing and be professional with it, that takes some time, you know? So yeah, it took a long while, and I went from taking 1 class a week to 2, and then I was going in for the pre-professional program, which is several hours a day, every day. Wow. So it took some time to get to a place where I wasn't going to get hurt and looked okay.
Looked okay.
Well, I came into it late. Like, I was 26 when I started circus.
Why did you start? Because most people, like you said, they started since they were 2. Why do you even decide to start at 26?
It's what I wanted to do. You know, I was doing theater, I was doing film, I was doing music, I did all that, and this was one thing that I hadn't tried. And so it's like, all right, let's go. I'm jumping in. Why not? So, yeah, and I didn't have a lengthy dance background. I had 0 gymnastics background. I had a little bit of cheerleading. Like, that was it. So they had to start from the very beginning, like, these are your muscles. This is what they're supposed to do. This is how you break things. This is how you don't break things. This is, you know, it was a long process. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So how was your first show?
The first one?
Yeah.
It was nice.
What did you do? Stilts?
I did duo trapeze. So I had a partner.
Oh, like someone spinning you around.
Yeah. So I had a partner who, basically he was the base and I was the flyer. So, he was...
So the base is the person hanging upside down?
Yeah, the one kind of hanging on to you. So I'm making the shapes while I'm hanging on to another human, whether it be his feet or his arms and legs. And so, so we did a piece together where we were saying goodbye to each other on an airport. And it was neat. It was my first experience with duo trapeze, was training with him for that year on that. And then afterwards, I was like, this bass thing, I think I want to do that. I was like, I'm not a delicate flower. I am not a flyer. I am a bass. So I bass people now. That's more my bag.
Yeah, so and the thing, Rajnesh, about you, Raj, the video she did for CBC, you do the bass with Aaron.
Yeah. So Aaron and I bass each other because we have to get inventive with what we're doing.
So, do you want to give a bit of background about Aaron?
Yeah. So Aaron Ball is my, co-founder of the business LEGacy Circus. So she and I have just developed what we call adaptive circus, where we are just trying to find new ways to do circus with different bodies. So Erin is actually a double below-knee amputee, and on any given day, depending on what skills we're doing, she'll choose to wear any sort of attachment on her legs or take them off entirely. And so we needed to develop new ways that we could balance each other, new ways that we could hang from the air. So this is the research that we've been doing. So there are some skills on the trapeze that require hanging onto someone's feet. Well, when that comes up, then she's going to be hanging onto mine. So we kind of developed this new thing. We're spreading the love with that.
Why did you come up with the name LEGacy Circus?
It's a little bit of a play on words for us because everything that we do is around our legs, right? So I wear leg attachments in the form of stilts. She wears her leg attachments. But it's also, we want to leave a legacy. We want for it to become normal to see just people of different minds and bodies on stage. That's what we want. So right now it's still kind of a token thing, and we get that. But we want it so that any classroom at any point is inclusive in the people that are coming into that room, and it's creating performers who do think and move differently for whatever reason that is, whether they identify from being in the mad, deaf, or disabled community, and it just becomes a fact. You can choose to from a whole roster of performers, and some of them just happen to be disabled. So that's what we're hoping for.
And I know you're doing a similar performance with April.
Yeah, April Hubbard. April Hubbard's our baby circus performer. We're super pumped. April is chair of the Halifax Fringe Festival and is someone that I started doing some research with back in January. And so we've created this duo trapeze piece, as well as starting to experiment a little bit with duo chair, where April is a chair user. We do have some new apparatuses to choose from. So, see if we can hang that chair in the air. I don't know.
And so we have this trapeze thing on the table, and I'm looking at it, and you're telling me it carries pounds and pounds and pounds.
Yeah.
What happens what's the worst that, like, if something goes wrong?
If something goes wrong, insurance, I guess, kicks in. I don't know. So you hope that nothing goes wrong. So I guess the key is you make sure that your performers are trained well and they're rested well. You always check your gear, and you only hire a professional rigger, and you only buy professional gear, and you've already eliminated some of the risks. Get yourself some insurance. And then the rest of it is it's usually just human error.
So is insurance for show different from insurance from the school, or is it
Absolutely,
all?
Yeah. You'd have. I mean, usually it's just umbrellaed all under, unless you're a company that chooses not to do one or the other. You know, you can,
okay.
as a performer, if you're never going to be teaching another human being how to, then you wouldn't get the insurance to cover that. Yeah, and there's waivers for students and all kinds of fun stuff because this stuff is tricky. This is tricky stuff and it's dangerous.
Do people come in, I guess, with a mindset of knowing it's dangerous?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Do you have signs and saying, don't try this at home and shit?
Well, I hope so. Well, yeah, sometimes we get the parents who are like, oh, I'm totally going to buy my kids, like, some curtains and we're going to put it up in my living room. And I'm just, no. No, you're not. Please don't. Like, go buy your kid some juggling balls and, like, call it a day. Bring your kid here. That would be great. But, no, it's on the waiver. Like, people understand any physical activity that they're going to do, there's an element of risk. Usually, I want to say always here in Halifax, from what I've seen so far, the instructors know what they're doing. They know when and how to push up to a next level. They know how to spot properly. So, yeah, you're risking a tiny bit because you're going up in there, but we're not going to make you do something that
and that's what I was going to ask.
You're not strong enough to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I come in there. How are you going to, like, I'm not, do I ask, do I say what I want to do, or do you like, this?
If it's an adult class, like each class, we're going to give you a little something different to do. So if you came into my class on your first day, and let's say we were doing trapeze, that trapeze is low enough that you can just plain old stick your arms up. It's also low enough that I can at any point in time grab a hold of your body. I'm going to let you know where I'm holding and when and how, and then I'm going to show you how to get up. And while you're doing it, I'm holding different parts of you, like your feet are going to be held down while your knees are wrapped on, or I got the back of your neck, et cetera, and you've got a giant crash mat underneath you. So the worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to, like, give yourself a hernia trying to haul yourself up there, because you're just like, I'm going to get this. But, like, yeah, no, it's all really slow and safe, and yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How
You
long?
realize this is setting you up for actually coming over to taking one of my classes? Like, can we just say that's happening? You're coming in. I'll drop in.
I'll try.
I'll try. He's doing it. He's doing it.
So here's the thing though. How long would it take? I mean, like, not me, but the average person, the average person's time from first class to you can fucking spin her across the.
Oh, God. I don't know. That's such a tough question. That's such a tough question. Like, there's so many variables there. It's like, how active are you on a day-to-day as it is?
Yeah,
like, I don't know. You know?
You guys are so strong.
Because we have to be. We die if we're not. Like, or we're injured.
There was a video I saw. I'm not sure if it was on Instagram or someone else's, and so it was you and this lady, and she was acting weird, like she's crazy and stuff.
I'm so wait.
Okay, so
What thing are you watching?
on Instagram, she was acting like this crazy old lady.
Are you sure that wasn't me?
Oh wait, a crazy old lady. Was it? It was you. You were that crazy old lady. Anyway, do you remember what I'm talking about?
You know, she was acting all crazy. That was me. With the wig on.
Yeah.
That's me. I was balancing a chair in my hands.
Yes. What was that act about? Like, was it? Did you just create it there, or was it practice?
So like. So the gorgeous person who's beside me is Monique Ryan. So she and I have been doing like this duo acro, adagio, bendy, fun stuff together for many years. And in this particular show, we needed to find a way for this old woman character I was playing to suddenly do this thing with Monique. And I was like, shoot, what do I do? So we made up on the spot.
Oh, that was a nice
grandma stripping out of her grandma clothes and just happened to be in this weird gymnastics outfit. And then we did our thing. But yeah, that was totally improvised. And like my thing with Grandma Nan is she's like the ugliest, most obnoxious character one of the ugliest, most obnoxious characters that I have, but there's so much freedom there. You know, like I'm up on stage next to these flexible, jacked, stunning people. And if I can be as hideous as possible and make people laugh, then I don't have this like competition that I'm feeling within myself. So it's like this really bizarre thing that I've done where I'm like, okay, how ugly can I be today? You know, so
it was a cool act to watch.
Yeah.
And how do you use how does social media tie into the whole circus acrobatic thing?
It's funny because a lot of people will say that they have social media to promote their business, which is kind of a load of bullshit. It kind of is for circus because very rarely are scouts watching your Instagram to see if you're like because it's so curated, you know, like if I'm taking a video of myself doing circus, I'm going to edit out until I get the best part of what I've done. And you're not going to see all the other stuff. So really, all Instagram has become for a lot of dancers and circus artists and all those people is porn for ourselves. We are checking each other out.
Look at me.
Yeah, we are checking each other out to be like, oh shit, I like that move. I want to try it, which is super. I don't recommend doing that unless you're a professional. I also I've got some of my students who are like, how do you do this move? I'm like, oh God, don't. But it's porn for ourselves. It's an opportunity for us to look and go, ooh, I've got to step it up in my flexibility this week, or oh damn, that move is a lot harder than the one that I'm doing, or wow, their makeup is really nice, or I need to buy some new costumes. It's just porn for ourselves. And the danger in that is that there are these unrealistic expectations that are coming out of the students. Then they come in and they're just like, I want to do this trick and I want to look like this, and it's like, well, you know, that took 400 shots and a lot of filters, and you know, so. But I think my favorite thing to follow on social media right now for circus is Not So Acrobat.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Hashtag Not So Acrobat is all of the fails.
Oh.
So it's like this person like doing 3 flips and then landing straight on their face. Or like the pole person is like super sexy into the camera and then like their cat comes in or something. It's golden because that's real. That's so real. Like the amount of times that I have like farted on camera or something, or like, you know, that's what we want to see. Let's be real. It is.
Okay. With that show, it starts out kind of with a circus acrobats thing, and then it goes into pole.
Yeah.
Do you find that there is a kind of a competition between people that pole and people that do acrobats? And
Not at all.
No,
not at all. No, it's a lot of the circus people do pole and vice versa, but it's 2 totally different things. Like pole has its place just as something that is fitness related. It has its place in the exotic dance world. It has its place in the competitive world. It's its own thing. But the benefits that come from doing pole and getting fit in that way certainly translate over into circus and vice versa. But there's zero competition there.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, Instagram again.
Yeah.
Everyone puts the best things, but one thing I wanted to talk about that also means a lot to me is that when we talked earlier, circus for you is kind of a way to handle mental health challenges.
Yeah.
How did that happen for you?
Which part?
Oh, not the mental health.
Which part? How deep we getting? You mean using circus? I think. I mean, for the most part, like when you're showing up to class, to learn anything, whether it's like dance or music, or you've got a craft or a hobby thing that you're doing, whatever class that you're going into, you're going in there to kind of escape your everyday. You're going there to escape the work. You're just going there to just kind of feel yourself out. And so it started out as that. And then it was trying to get into that a little bit deeper to create a performance, and you're starting to figure your own self out there. Like what am I really good at, and how do I express myself, and what songs am I choosing and why, and what story am I trying to tell? And then from there, once you've done that for a bit, then you start researching that a little deeper, and kind of making that your journey, your purpose as an artist. For me, I didn't really take circus super seriously until I had a family, and then for me, that became my everything. That was my purpose. I was like, okay, I have this purpose here, and so a lot of what I do on the stage is reflecting that, is trying to find the best version of me that I can pass down. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Profound. Okay, I'm gonna end it with this though. For someone like me that hasn't done like whatever, what advice would you give to me coming to a class?
I would just come to a class being ready to try it, to possibly feel uncomfortable, because a lot of people go in and they get super hard on themselves. They're like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to, or I don't want to show a person that I can't get my leg up there right now. I just go in and be open about that, because if you have the right instructor, and if you have the right mindset going in, you're going to surprise yourself an awful lot. You're going to go in and you're going to be like, wait, oh, shoot, I didn't know that I could do that. And you walk away feeling really good about yourself. And every day you're going to get stronger. You're going to want an Epsom salt bath at the end of it. But yeah, you have to walk in with an open mind, Like the class might be about juggling that day, and you might think that you hate it, but then you'd be like, wait, this brought focus. Like I feel like I just meditated for 3 hours. I don't know.
Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you
super
so much
grateful.
for having me. Yeah, this was nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
This is the Blackout podcast. Thanks for listening.